XV1 for critical review is Jordan Maxwell. AI doesn't need us.
Jordan Maxwell, I never heard you to speak about the future of AI, artificial intelligence. What can you say about
the
that?
future of, when you said the future of what?
Of AI.
Oh, artificial intelligence,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Well, my first thought, as always, when we talk about artificial intelligence, is that in America, we like to say in America that we have computers that can think for themselves. And which I say, well, thank God, at least somebody can think for themselves, because the people don't think for themselves. So at least we got a computer that can think for itself. I think if the human race were able to think for itself, it would be frightened to death at what they would see. But me, I saw it a long time ago. And so artificial intelligence is going to be a most unbelievable curse on the earth that you have no idea in the world how bad it's going to be. You cannot imagine how serious and how bad artificial intelligence is going to make the world you live in. Because very soon there's going to be no need for you at work. There's going to be no need for you to go to work to earn a living. There's going to be no need for you to read or study anything. There's not going to be any real need for you, period. Much less what you learn or what you can do. You don't need to have you. We have computers that can do much quicker work than you can. And that's why the auto companies have computers to paint the cars and build the cars themselves. They don't need people. Why have people? They're just a trouble. Instead of paying people, don't pay them nothing. Computers. And so therefore, people are now out of work. You can't feed your family because you're not as smart as a computer. But very soon, there's going to come a time, very soon, and this is why I incidentally suggested to you that you should have my friend Jeffrey Matt on, because he's a real expert on AI, artificial intelligence, and that kind of thing. He's got some really interesting stuff to tell you about artificial intelligence. But the bottom line on that subject is that artificial intelligence will ultimately be, I believe, in a couple of 100 years, maybe 100 years from now, the human race, as we know humanity, will no longer exist. We're no longer going to exist by having your mother and father and your children and your grandparents and your family and all of that. That's going to be all gone. And so if you're thinking in terms of being like a family unit and caring about your mother and your grandmother and your friends and your family, forget that. With artificial intelligence, within the next 100 years, there's not going to be any humanity left. Everybody's going to have a computer code on their arms or on their legs or somewhere, their wrist, and you don't have to tell the government anything. They'll know everything about you, where you go, where you eat, what you read, and the computers will arrest you. They will send you bills. And you can't talk to the computers. The computers will merely talk to you and tell you what you're going to do, and you will do it. And so you will find out that you, as a living human being, have been caught up in a world which is a horrible, tragic prison like Auschwitz and Dachau and all of those concentration camps in Germany. That's what the whole world is going to be like very soon. No more work. No more families, no more none of that, because the people who run this planet see the normal human beings today as a bunch of cattle. Who needs them? They're just a big problem. You got to feed them, and you got to clothe them, and you got to make sure they got water to drink and food to eat, and you got to, and they're going to get hurt, and they got to go to the hospital, and they need a doctor, and all of that is just ridiculous. All you need to do is just get rid of the human race and just put in computers that can think for themselves, that can build your cars, build everything for you. And the best of the best of humans will be used to do the labor, grow the food and patch up the streets and all that. But there's not going to be any more world of freedom and liberty and justice and intelligence and wisdom and the great concept of a world of wisdom and knowledge and peace and freedom. That's all gone. That's all gone. The whole human race is gone. But right now, as long as everybody has beer in their belly and they got a hamburger and they got plenty of beer to drink and they got their entertainments and television and whatever else they're occupied with, their drugs and sex, drugs and rock and roll and whatever their music, as long as the people are satisfied, they got food to eat and beer to drink and they got their baseball games and then they don't care about the future. They don't know anything about it. They don't see it coming. And they don't care. But one day, that day comes, it's going to be way too late. It's already way too late right now. But very soon, within the next, say, 35 to 40 years, what is left of the human race, people who are actually human beings and good people, they're going to notice that the human family is finished. It's over. Everything's computerized. Your skin is computerized. Your eyes are all computerized. Computers will tell you what you can do, what you can't do. There's no need for you to go to college or go to school because you're not going to do anything anyway. They don't want you around. So, yeah, I know that what I do is very pessimistic.
Yeah.
But it's only because but it's only because I happen to know the truth. And the real truth is pessimistic. I was just going to say, if you don't see what I see, it's because you have not been studying the subject like I have for 65 years. I was giving lectures in Los Angeles back in 1959.